Oh, welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio. You're listening to us on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Sister stations.
Or worldwide at
IRLoneStar.com.
It's really weird that Colt's saying those taglines instead of Corey. I don't know how that's going to go over well in my mental psyche. But before we get
It'll
there...
improve.
Yeah, hopefully.
Mental psyche is redundant.
Yep. Hopefully, before we get there, though, let me tell you about our friends at Space Cadets Gaming, located in Robinson Road in Oak Ridge. Christmas time is going to be here before anybody knows it. Christmas list.
Well, we know when Christmas is going to happen.
You gotta stop me right in the middle of my thing, man. Like, I'm doing an ad here. Like, I'm reading an ad live, and you're going to cut me off. You just stay over there and press the buttons. Let me start over. Rewind it. Okay. Let me tell you about my friends Space Cadets Gaming, located Robinson Road in Oak Ridge. Christmas lists are getting long. Space Cadets Gaming is the one-stop shop for all things game-related. They have Magic. They have HeroClix. They have X-Wing. They have Munchkins. They have Dungeons & Dragons. Anything the kids are going to be asking for. Stop in, see the friendly staff, and mention Nerd Thug Radio for a 10% discount. That's Space Cadets Gaming, Robinson Road in Oak Ridge. And with that, let's get on with the show. All right, good. Got it out of my system. Whew. So, yeah, a lot of stuff. Not a lot of stuff's going on this week in nerd news when it comes to like TVs and movies.
I don't know, man.
It's been kind of dead. Not a lot of like breaking news or nothing. Like the only story that I saw that like I remotely had interest in was a Bob's Burgers movie.
That's pretty sweet.
3 years from now.
I really dig Bob's Burgers. Man.
I do too.
Oh yeah, it's a great show.
I think they're the best family on television, bar none.
You think so?
Yeah.
I really like the Goldbergs. You ever watch the Goldbergs?
No.
That's a pretty good show too.
No.
Pretty good family.
I don't know. I think that it's an interesting take in that it shows all the families have, like, what makes Bob's Burgers really great is that all the characters are really fleshed out.
And they like burgers.
Well, yeah, they have their own personalities, and importantly, they have their own flaws, and they accept each other in spite of that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a really good show. It's also one of those, like, one of the few, like, cartoons that you can watch, like, with the whole family, I feel like.
Yeah. That's
I
probably
can watch it with my family. That's, like, the only thing.
Bob's Burgers and The Simpsons, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Simpsons, I'm kind of played out in The Simpsons.
My family won't watch, like, either of those, but my mom loves Bob's Burgers.
Does she?
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool.
She's totally Linda.
But then, it makes me feel, I mean, do TV shows like that need a movie?
I think it depends upon the studio. Like, if you can properly adapt that instead of just being a 2-hour-long episode.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Zach, what do you think? I value your TV opinion very highly.
I don't know. I go back and forth on TV shows made into movies. I think Cole's got a point there. If it's just going to be a 90-minute episode, then I struggle with it. I do like the idea of really, really building a plot and a slow build to something on things like this. You run the risk, though, a lot of the humor in Bob's Burgers it's so quick.
Right.
It's so rapid fire that it's funny, right? Because it's not only is it quick jokes, but it's jokes that go play back against each other and feed off of each other. There's a risk of losing that in a 90-minute movie. But I don't know. I like to see things I love on big screens. My ideal life would be every time I finished a book or the first season of a TV show, I could then go and watch a longer episode or the movie of the book in a theater. So I go back and forth. It can be easily screwed up, but
like,
I'm not against it necessarily.
I'm all for extended, like it's the season finale, so it's going to be an hour-long episode or a TV special, but they really need to put a movie like on a big screen. Like
it's such a dynamic-looking and colorful show, though.
Right.
I think it'll play well in a theater. You know what I mean?
I mean, it taps into the
It'll
people
be fun
who are
to
watching
watch.
movies. People watching movies now are people our age, and so
What?
like a lot of people who are watching those TV shows are also like the people watching movies like in theaters. You've got kids, and then you've got people our age. So I think it'll do well because people like us. I mean, we'll go see it.
Yeah, I'll see it for sure.
Our age group will go see it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll be good. I think Lauren Bouchard is a funny guy, and everything he gets involved with is great. So, like, obviously, I'll see it.
Yeah, it's Bob's Burgers on.
Right.
On
Why wouldn't I?
So the other thing that I saw was some news of a show that didn't happen. So Fox has released, I got Fox, but like X-Men has released Legion, and then The Gifted just premiered last week. The second episode will air tonight, actually. There was a third show that was supposed to come along with it, and it was about the Hellfire Club. and Fox nixed that show, and it doesn't look like they're going back to it.
Love a villainous protagonist.
Right, and so the biggest thing that they said was it was going to be too expensive and complicated,
That makes sense.
and there were too many characters with not enough depth.
That makes sense. The Hellfire Club is a big group, right?
Right.
Even the limited exposure I've had in comics, and it's a big ask. You can, with a show like Gifted, with children who are just discovering their powers, you can kind of build up to the
Right.
really expensive set shots and special effects things. But with something like Hellfire Club, it's clearly an established organization. Those are big, complicated plots and stories, like season-long story arcs to really build and develop those characters like you'd need to, right?
No, I agree, but I just they're doing it. Like Game of Thrones is a huge show with tons of different plot, twists. There's tons of stuff going on. There's
Yeah.
some of those times you're watching those shows, you might not see a character for like 3 episodes before it comes back to its plot.
I agree. It's
Right?
doable. It's very doable, but I don't know. You'd have to sell a show like that to a network like HBO or
Right?
Encore
Yeah, I don't think
or
it would have been
Showtime.
I don't think it would have been a
couldn't-
Fox show.
Right.
It's
And-
not a weekday
right.
prime time.
It's a big
network
investment
show.
for that kind of show. Any show.
Stars. It should have gone to Stars. Stars
Yeah.
can do it.
Stars is
They
doing
need
some
help.
dope stuff.
Yeah, they've turned the corner big time.
Yeah.
They're doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
What do they do?
American Gods.
That's what I'm gonna say. They do American Gods, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stars is stepping their game up.
I
for
wouldn't
sure.
have minded seeing a Hellfire Club show, but
Right,
like
and
you
Emma
said,
Frost?
like you really have to be invested in that kind of show though for the long haul.
Yeah, you do.
Like you can't
You gotta play the long game.
because if you'd go in trying as a showrunner saying, well, maybe we'll get a second season, maybe we won't.
No.
You're going to try to cram everything
Yeah.
into one season. It's going to fall apart.
Yeah, you gotta be able to.
You
stick
have
with
to
It.
you have to start out saying we're going to get 3 seasons and we're going to develop the show like it's 3 seasons long,
Right, and just
and
keep
we're
rolling
not
with
going to
it.
jump the gun.
And piggyback off that point, especially when you're talking about an HBO show like Game of Thrones, it takes a special kind of planning and vision in order to say, this is the story we're going to plan over the entire season.
Right.
No, right.
Especially if
Yeah,
it's
it's
something
definitely one of those things you have to
serialized.
go in there and you basically tell them, look, this story's not a 1-season show. It's gonna take time to build and
Right.
the network has to be willing to stick with it, which in this day and age, a lot of networks aren't like that. Like the guy who did who's doing Inhumans, like he came out and he's like, I've got plans for. I know what's gonna happen season 2, season 3, and they might struggle to even get past season 1.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely network and where you take it and planning. Yep, careful planning. What else? TV world. You got a lot of TV
God,
stuff
man.
you want to get to.
There's a lot
Come on,
of
we got,
stuff
We got a
happening
few
in
minutes
TV.
here. What you got?
I don't know. There's 2 great shows, and I can talk about these more, but there's 2 great shows on Netflix right now called Atypical and Big Mouth. Atypical is about a kid on the autism spectrum in high school, and he's just starting to date. It's a great show. And then there's a show called Big Mouth, which is a really raunchy animated comedy from Nick Kroll. I love
Long
it.
pause.
I love both of these shows so much, and for very, very different reasons, but very much the same reasons. They both show exceedingly well like the human condition of young adolescent people in 2 very, very different situations. There's a lot I could say. We could talk more about Big Mouth later because Joey, I know you have some terrible opinions about it.
I do. Not terrible. I just
They're
I don't know.
terrible. My
I got 10
favorite
minutes
show,
in.
Nathan For You, is
I
coming
know.
back.
How's that going?
So excited about it.
Have you seen this show, Cole?
I'm waiting it for
No,
for
I
it to build.
haven't.
Nathan For You is this out. It's nothing I've ever seen before.
It's bizarre.
What
it's
is
this
it?
guy who graduated with a business. I want to say it was a master's in business, but some kind of business degree, right? And what he does is he finds these struggling businesses and he comes up with these just off the wall things to help their business.
and then
But,
it works.
but he's so genuine about what he's trying to do with them. Like you almost look past the absurdity of the things he's suggesting.
and some of it's not even businesses. What was the one show you had me watch that just
Oh my god!
ruined your
and
life
then
forever?
like, oh yeah, and then like on
We
the
talked about
season
this.
3, the last season finale is when he takes over that guy's life to walk a tightrope, and it wrecked my life.
So this guy wants to date this girl.
He wants
right?
to get a date, and he wants to do something really brave as well. So like this guy, Nathan,
but he's not brave.
right? So Nathan gets a bodysuit made and like walks a tight. It's
He
impossible to
basically
describe.
takes the guy's life over. They
Right.
pull this big like David Copperfield
right,
stunt.
and then he has to like walk away from it, and it's the most. It's the saddest.
Right, but in the middle of it, he's walking a tightrope. He's like, I really got in, and I felt like I was this
right,
guy.
I felt like I
he was supposed
David.
to just
like
walk
he
the
really
tightrope.
wanted
He's-
to be
yeah.
that guy. It
So-
was really sad and touching all at the same time.
So Colt, he was only supposed to walk the tightrope one time. right? Yeah. And how many times did he
Right.
walk
He
it?
keeps going back and forth
Just
because he
keep-
doesn't want to climb off the tightrope.
He doesn't want to like end his time as taking over this guy's
Yeah,
life.
it was
so he just
really
keeps
sad.
walking back and forth. Oh
And
my
then
goodness.
if you've ever seen anything online about dumb Starbucks, I don't know if you've ever seen that.
No,
where they opened up a coffee shop, and I forget where, but it was a whole coffee shop that served the exact same menu as Starbucks, but it was called Dumb Starbucks, and it was flagged as a performance art piece or a modern art piece or something. So this is how this guy turned this guy's coffee shop around, is he made his coffee shop into an art piece and called it Dumb Starbucks, and there are signs everywhere explaining why it's not copyright infringement because it's fair use. It's hilarious.
Nathan,
That
for
episode
you.
sounds amazing.
It
I'm
is
gonna check
so
this out.
weirdly, unintentionally funny and sweet and heartwarming. Like, it's baffling. And it's been off. The last season was like 2 or 3
Right.
years ago, I want to say.
So season 3 ended when we started doing the show.
Well, yeah, and when one of the first episodes I was on was talking about that, but that had come out like a year
Yeah.
before. I just came across it on Hulu.
Oh, right.
So yeah, it's been a few years, and I'm really, really excited Comedy Central has brought it back.
Speaking of Starbucks, I had my first pumpkin spice latte of the season.
You're lame.
The fault. You're channeling your basic inner white girl.
I did.
You're-
I've never had one.
You're
Really?
lame.
Never had one, and we were waiting in line at the Starbucks,
You're lame.
and the line was long, so we went inside thinking it'd go faster. Big mistake.
Yeah, it
but
does
because
not.
I went inside, I got a pumpkin spice latte, so it kind of worked out. You know what? It doesn't start out tasting very well, but then once you get like halfway through and everything starts mixing together well, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. I can see why people get pretty addicted to these things.
Every single fall, I go to the local store and I get this ingredients for a recipe to make my own pumpkin spice creamer. It's
own
like
pumpkin spice
every morning.
creamer.
Every morning, I pour a cup of coffee, reach in the fridge, grab a bottle of that pumpkin spice, and it tastes
Go in there.
delicious.
I don't even like pumpkin spice stuff.
That's what
I
was
don't-
in this coffee right
I don't
here.
even know what propelled me to try it, but I was there and I got caught up in the moment, and I was wearing my Toms as well, and I was like, man, I'm just inner white boy and all over the place right
My
now.
wife loves a pumpkin spice latte. They're
You're-
terrible.
I mean, when I first drank, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know why people like this. But then I got halfway through and it hit me, and then it was great. It was great stuff. You should
They're
try
pretty
one.
Delicious. You've never had
No,
pumpkin
Yeah, I've had
spice?
one. It's not for me.
It's not for him.
Like that's fair enough. At least you tried it, and you can say like, yeah, I respect it. But
I don't need to do that though.
He doesn't.
Like, I don't need to experience things to judge them and decide they're terrible.
But
Just for the record, in this case, I happen to have tried one, but I would have no qualms about passing judgment on it had I never tried it.
But we
that
do
seems
need to jump
completely
out to a
like you.
break right now. So when we get back, we have a longtime friend of mine, Lori Jolly, stopping in to talk about what is it? The Women's Center? Yeah,
The
domestic
Montgomery
violence.
County Women's
Yeah,
Center.
she's going to talk about that. You listen to Nerd Talk Radio.